Gingras' filings become deranged and paranoid. He has made a filing that I do not think he should have made in the court of law. I don't know how the judge is going to take him seriously after this filing because it's insane. It's an attack on people that have nothing to do with this case. And he's bringing people in. He's bringing internet drama to the courtroom. And it has no place because none of this stuff has anything to do with the DVRO case. He does not have Laura's best interest at heart in these filings. He is trying to make himself the star when he's really just supposed to be Laura's best supporting actor. But let's get quacking. So, David Gingras of Gingras Law, an intervener / former counsel for petitioner Laura Owens, in the Superior Court for the State of California, County of San Francisco, in the matter of Owens V Echard, non-party intervener David S. Gingras reply in support of his motion for leave to intervene for sanctions, etc., assigned to the Honorable Carolyn Gold. This poor woman has to waste her time reading this. I would love to see her reaction when she reads this because it is unhinged. Introduction. As everyone knows, motions for sanctions are common, and they are routinely denied. In most cases, that's fair when lawyers doth protest too much. This case is very different. To understand why this court needs to know about something called Justice for Clayton, or JFC. JFC is an online cult devoted to one single purpose: destroy the life of petitioner Laura Owens. No, it is not, because it stands for Justice for Clayton. Now it is Justice for Mike. It's JFM. Or Victims of Laura Owens. VOLO. We are a VOLO justice group. Okay? And the thing is not everybody gets along. Different people support different things. Some people have different lines. There are things that are posted about certain things that I follow and I believe in, but the way they're going about things is too much, in my opinion. And that is not something that I would do. Okay. So in saying that, just because one person does something that is supposedly connected to this and wants justice doesn't mean that everybody that stands behind a certain person agrees with that. There are things I'm sure that in this case and things that I've done that Lauren wouldn't do. There are things that Lauren does that I might not agree with. There are things that Dave and Megan, we don't all agree on every single thing. It's not a group of like-minded people. It is a group from people all over with different backgrounds coming together for a cause that we think needs justice. And a person that has caused these things deserves to be punished. We don't need to punish her. The court needs to punish her because that is how we're supposed to be handling things. And now that is what is happening. None of us, I would say, that I know of, are reaching out to Laura. I don't know who's behind Justice for Clayton social media. I don't know who's behind the Justice for Clayton Twitter. No clue. Those people that are behind that are responsible for that. But you cannot group everybody to something that doesn't, like, we're not all of us individually are not responsible for what everyone in the so-called cult that you say does. Lauren doesn't deserve to be punished for something somebody else does just because she supports Clayton or she supports Mike. It's insane. Do Gingras even look to see who follows these Instagram handles? Does Lauren follow these Instagram handles? Does Dave follow them? Does Megan Fox follow them? Do I follow them? Does Omar follow them? Any of these people he likes to harp on? Does Tug follow it? Because if you have no proof of us doing it or even being the ones in charge of those accounts, knock this shit off. Because once again, you're coming up with crazy conspiracy theories. Those allegations may sound paranoid. Yeah, they are. If not outright delusional. Yep. Which, if you have been drinking when you wrote this, maybe that's why this is the way it is. Maybe you were sober when you wrote it. I don't know. But this seems like some late night writing. Unfortunately, they are accurate and well supported. No, they're not. You have no proof that the people that you're citing here did any of this. The JFC cult operates largely on social media. The cult maintains a Twitter account, Clayton's Justice, which has posted nearly 6,000 times. Okay? They share people's videos that cover the case. They upload documents and court filings. Like, maybe count the amount of court filings there have been since this case started. Because you have to think about the online creation people and what they're posting. And they're like, oh, look, Lauren's going over this case. Oh, look, Dave's going over this case. Oh, look, this person's going over this case. Then it's like, oh, here are the documents for this. And right now, there is Mike, Greg, Clayton, the parents' bankruptcy, her criminal case, and then you've got Uber and Lone Star. And so that's 7 cases of every document that appears in those cases. So maybe count the filings. Like 6,000 is, you know what most of those are? Dedicated to talking about your filings because you file the most out of any of these people. So 6,000 times about Miss Owens in the last 2 years. The cult also maintains an Instagram account. I don't even know if the people on Twitter are the same people that run the Instagram or if they're two separate people. Because people can create pages and fan pages all the time. You don't even know who's behind them. Which is filed with vile, cruel, disgusting personal attacks against Miss Owens, her family, undersigned counsel, and anyone who dares express the slightest degree of support. Well, the thing is, that is the only people that support her. You, her family, like mom and dad. I don't even know what her sister's thoughts are on this, but at least her mom and dad, you, and Laura herself. 4. Like 4 people. Those are the people that support her. Out of the entire world. You can't even, people that actually know the case, not people that are like, oh, I love Ron. This is so horrible what happened to his daughter. And they're just taking Ron's word for it, or they're just taking Laura's word for it, and they haven't actually looked at the case. I'm talking about people that have actually looked at the case and seen. She does not have a handful, or at least 2 handfuls. She don't even have like 10 people out of the entire world that believe her. 10 people you cannot find that know everything about this case and are on her side. That is sad. And she's the only one that can stop all of this stuff continuing. The power is in her hands. But she chooses to keep going. You choose to keep filing and going after people. Because all of us cover different cases. This is not the only case that we focus on. We have other cases we follow. The JFC cult thrives on inhumane cruelty. One of their favorite pleasures is attacking Miss Owens' physical appearance. The sick individual operating the JFC Instagram account routinely posts hundreds of times each week depicting Miss Owens as a hideous, deformed creature. Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Okay, I don't know that they post 100 times each week. That's probably an exaggeration. Maybe it's not. A lot of it's satire. And most of us, the only thing we say about Laura's appearance now is she wasn't pregnant. That was a fake belly. And that we're worried about her health because she is looking incredibly frail and tiny. And she's under 100 pounds as a grown adult. That's it. That's what most of us say. I don't know about whatever this stuff is. I'm not posting that stuff. But again, as Lauren has said, we have to alter photos and different things because she and you go after us. We try to do the nice things, the pictures that y'all are proud of, and then y'all get mad. What does this have to do with the issue of sanctions? Here's that. What? Respondents Counsel Omar Serrato is a prominent supporter and participant in the JFC cult. Because he talks about a case that he was not a party to when he talked about it, he's a prominent supporter of what everybody is doing? No. That's some wild speculation. You don't know what Omar supports and what he participates in. You have no proof that he participates in the Instagram. You have no proof about his Twitter. All he does is talk about the case, and it was prior to being a Mike Maricini's lawyer. He was just a spectator, as you like to say, talking about a case. He didn't do any of this other crazy stuff. More than that, Mr. Serrato is also friends with a frequently collaborates with a key cult leader and instigator named Laura Knighty. That's defamatory. Below, a recent photo of Miss Knighty and Mr. Serrato appearing together at an event in Arizona. Notice the event they're at is about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. And it's right there in the picture. They didn't go to an event. None of us have hosted events for Laura Owens. We're not out here hosting panels for Laura Owens. And I hope the judge sees this and is like, okay, so he has friends. And oh, a Justin case. That sounds like Omar and Lauren actually cover other cases than Laura Owens, that their main focus and sole purpose is not Laura Owens. They also did not go to Arizona for the purpose of finding or harassing or doing anything to Laura Owens. He says, if the name Laura Knighty sounds familiar, it should. On July 11, 2025, 2 days after this case was filed, Ms. Knighty filed a media request to broadcast this entire case. The court denied that request the same day it was made. Ms. Knighty is not associated with any legitimate media outlet. She is simply a YouTuber like Mr. Serrato. Well, Laura Knighty is not just simply a YouTuber. She has jobs, like real full-time jobs. YouTube is a side hobby that she does because she has the right to. Omar is not just a lawyer or not just a YouTuber. He has a day job, and it's called being a lawyer. You may not know what it's like to spend your day being a lawyer and having many clients recently. You probably don't know and remember that life, but Omar does. And no, Lauren is not traditional media. But that's the thing, is traditional media, old school media, is not the way of the future. People are tired of the mainstream media because they don't report on things unbiased. They have a position. They also cut clips, string things together, and edit people and a story to make it look how they want to. They don't just put the full entire thing out there. Things are taken out of context. Whereas in YouTube media, we want the entire interview out there. We want the entire broadcast out there. We're not cutting clips of somebody's interview or cutting just certain parts of a court hearing to string together to be like, hey, this is what happened in court. And then you find out that's actually not what happened in court. The YouTube media way is to let everybody see with their own eyes, hear with their own ears, and come to their own conclusion. Not be told what to do, what to believe, and plant things into people's minds. My opinion, that is where people need to go. And I get traditional media and mainstream media are pissed off about it. But they could change their ways, and they don't. And it's okay for them to make money off of it and them to record. But it's not okay for an independent person to want to branch out to do other things. The friendship between Miss Knighty and Mr. Serrato is not the reason why sanctions are appropriate. Rather, sanctions are appropriate because Mr. Serrato filed a groundless pleading, his motion to disqualify, which contained false and disparaging statements about the undersigned made solely to harass. But there's more. Omar didn't do that. At the time the motion was filed, Mr. Serrato knew it served no legitimate purpose. Mr. Serrato knew the attorney-client relationship with Miss Owens was voluntarily terminated, even though there was no ethical requirement to do so. The relationship was terminated, in part, to keep this matter simple and to ensure the parties and the court would not waste time dealing with unnecessary collateral disputes. You're the one filing collateral disputes. And just because you see a filing and interpret the law one way, it doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't interpret it another way. And then the judge comes in and they say, this is how I'm interpreting the law. And sometimes they're like, I agree with this part from you, and I agree from this part over here from you. And so I'm going to do something that's in the middle. But Mr. Serrato and Miss Knighty need collateral disputes. Why? Because collateral disputes provide content for Miss Knighty's YouTube videos, and every new video means more money. Really, prove what money she's taken in. Prove that she has put a dime in her pocket off of these. And that is exactly what has occurred. Miss Knighty has released hours of videos talking about this case and gloating about how Mr. Serrato roasted and embarrassed the undersigned in his pleadings. Well, that's her opinion. She has a right to say that, including his motion to disqualify. In these videos, Miss Knighty repeats every false and defamatory statement contained in Mr. Serrato's pleadings while soliciting money for her effects. She does not ask for money. Where in her video is she like, hey guys, give me all the money? Please send me super chats. Please do this. No. She posts the fundraiser and says, hey, donate to that, not me. In addition to disparaging Miss Owens and the undersigned, Miss Knighty has posted videos praising Mr. Serrato for his valiant battle against Miss Owens in this case. She can do that. In his opposition, Mr. Serrato never denies collaborating with Miss Knighty to attack Miss Owens and to further the JFC cult's goals. No, because maybe he doesn't want to focus on crazy shit. Like he just wants to focus on the merits of the DVRO renewal, which you have seemed to forget about. Instead, he attempts to downplay the issue, suggesting Gingras' sick theory that Mr. Serrato filed the motion to disqualify to create new YouTube content is unsupported and unreasonable. Serrato filed one motion on a serious issue and has not created any content related to Owens or Gingras since entering this case in August 2025. Yeah, he hasn't. This argument misses the point. Regardless of whether Mr. Serrato has paused his YouTube career, his longtime collaborator, Miss Knighty, has not. Omar has no control over what Lauren does. Instead, she continues creating new content about this case virtually every single day. Only on the days that things come out. And you put out a lot of stuff, so people have to cover it. When there's nothing on this case, she reports on other things. And guess what? She has a First Amendment right to do so. Because Miss Knighty keeps posting the same disparaging content Mr. Serrato previously did, their plan is obvious. They intend to use this case as a platform for generating and publishing false and defamatory statements in pleadings, which are privileged and protected. Publicly filed documents are not privileged and protected. We have said nothing on anything that is protected or privileged. We only report on what is in the filings and that we have receipts for. So I don't know what privileged or protected information that's been said, but I'd like a citing for that because you're just saying that she's doing this and you have no proof that she's doing this. So Miss Nighty can profit by republishing those lies on her YouTube channel. Well, we republish your lies in your court documents too, sir. While the claim might sound paranoid in any other content, the court must understand Miss Nighty has demonstrated a willingness to do absolutely anything, legal or illegal, to attack, defame, and harass both Miss Owens and the undersigned. She has engaged in such conduct nearly every day for almost 2 years. You know where the judge needs to tell you to put this? Up your ass. Because Miss Nighty has nothing to do with the DVRO renewal case. The judge is going to hopefully tell you, I don't give a crap what Miss Nighty does. Miss Nighty is not a party to this case. She's not a witness to this case. Nothing. So why are you sitting here complaining about Miss Nighty? You have a problem with Miss Nighty, take it up somewhere else. It's not going to go well for you because she has receipts and you just spew stuff out your butt. She has engaged in such conduct nearly every day for almost 2 years. Okay, you've engaged in some crazy conduct since you've been with Laura Owens. Again, examples are too numerous to include them all. So just consider this. Miss Nighty recently created a social media profile. No, she did not just create. Using the name David Gingras, accompanied by a photo of undersigned counsel's face photoshopped onto Miss Owens' body. The judge does not care because Omar and Maricini have nothing to do with anything that Lauren's doing. It's also called satire. You need to learn to take a joke. It's funny. It's creative. Maybe you don't like it, but we have to change pictures for transparent purposes. We have to make them different and put our own artistic spin on things so that y'all don't copyright strike people. Using that account, she spends hours each day posting comments in the name of David Gingras, including this fine work of poetry. David's brain is smoother than a porn star's butthole. I mean, why aren't you taking that as a compliment? You don't like your brain being smooth? And if she was trying to pretend to be you, I don't think she would talk to herself in third person. Or nobody's going to think that you yourself wrote that. She is not pretending to be you. And you don't know how long she spends on what. Once again, you are exaggerating and speculating. Most of us have jobs and do not have time to be online all day, every day. We may check it here and there, but we're not doom scrolling. Back to his rant to the court. Is Mr. Serrato liable for the criminal? See footnote 1. It is both a tort and a crime in the state of California for any person to knowingly and without consent credibly impersonate or another actual person through or on an internet website or by electronic means for purpose of harming, intimidating, threatening, or defrauding another person. Well, they're not doing any of that. They're not seeking you out. You're the one that goes and finds these things. Like, how much do you have to do to find all these things? I mean, it seems obsessive, sir. He will claim he is not. But when two parties conspire to engage in unlawful conduct, both may be held liable for the other's illegal acts. There is no evidence of Omar and Lauren conspiring. You will find it nowhere. Once again, we read your lies to the public that you say. We give you more attention than probably anybody else because you continue to file stuff. And we file it anytime. We report on it anytime there's a filing. So the more stuff you file and the more stuff you say, the more there is for us to discuss. Because we want the full context. We want to see if you have a coherent argument. This is the type of shit that it's like if you don't have the law on your side, or if you have the law on your side, pound the law. If you have the facts on your side, pound the facts. If you have neither on your side, pound the table and throw a big hissy fit to the judge. Then he cites a case that says, noting in a civil conspiracy, each member may be held jointly liable as a tortfeasor, even though he or she may not have participated directly in the underlying tort. Maybe you should pay attention to the Karen Reed or the Turtle Boy thing, because somebody doing something and that person didn't say, hey, post this to harass, post this to intimidate. Should we do this to have this outcome? You have nothing like that. The truth is there is no question Mr. Serrato filed a groundless pleading, which contains knowingly false and disparaging statements. There is no question he did so for no valid reason because he knew the attorney-client relationship was voluntarily terminated before the motion was filed. If you think it is groundless, then that's what you state. You don't have to go into all this other bullshit that the court doesn't care about because it has nothing to do with this. No relevance. Within days, that frivolous pleading was turned into a lengthy YouTube video by Mr. Serrato's close friend and co-conspirator, Miss Knighty. Given the history of extreme hostility shown by both Mr. Serrato and Miss Knighty towards Miss Owens and her counsel, it is only reasonable to conclude Mr. Serrato and Miss Knighty intentionally conspired to abuse this court's process by filing a groundless pleading for the sole purpose of harassment by republishing it on YouTube. You're crazy. Go get your head checked. Go to rehab. The only question is whether this court believes this conduct is acceptable. One party, a lawyer, files a groundless pleading containing false statements. You, David Gingras, a lawyer, filed a pleading with lies everywhere as well. The only question is whether this court believes the conduct is acceptable. One party, a lawyer, files a groundless pleading, contains false statements. His co-conspirator immediately converts the lie-filled pleading into a YouTube video. Okay, I'm doing the same thing. Dave does it. Like, you are so insane to think that all of us get together and just have this plan. It's crazy. On the other hand, if this court believes lawyers owe a duty to honor and the law and the rules of professional conduct, it should send a clear message to Mr. Serrato. Practicing law is not the same as making YouTube videos insulting other people. YouTube may ignore its own terms of service, but this court is not YouTube, and these proceedings will not be turned into a lawless social media war zone. You're the one that's bringing social media into this and making it a war zone. Discussion. The pleadings speak for themselves. As such, only a few points will be mentioned. You should have just focused on the pleadings themselves. Intervention. Mr. Serrato argues this court cannot grant leave for an undersigned to intervene. In reply, the undersigned reminds the court Mr. Serrato filed a motion seeking to disqualify undersigned counsel. The motion was based on a lie, i.e., the undersigned counsel still currently represented Ms. Owens in this case. If that lie was true, there would be no need to intervene. Sanctions could and would have been requested as Ms. Owens' current counsel. But Mr. Serrato's representation to this court was false. He knew the attorney-client relationship ended before his motion was filed. Has your relationship as her lawyer ceased to exist on everything or just this case? Because are you going to be the one filing a response to the court in the Clayton Echard case that just came out? Are you also the one that called Omar to figure out how to get this case to settle recently? After you said you were not going to be the attorney? So are you acting as an attorney or not? Let's see here. He knew the undersigned counsel had never filed a notice of appearance in this case. I thought you said you did, but it was not accepted due to technicality. So did you file it or not? See, you can't even keep your story straight. It was not Miss Owens' counsel of record. Maybe you weren't on the record for this case, but he knows that you are Miss Owens' attorney in other matters. Who did she call when her house was being raided or not? And it was under a search warrant. She called you. So, yeah, you're her attorney. That specific issue was discussed at length during the 66-minute phone call between counsel, which took place on August 18, 2025, 5 days before the disqualification motion was filed. Given these facts, it is ultimately does not matter whether this court allows the undersigned to intervene for the limited purpose of seeking sanctions or whether the motion is treated as a filed by undersigned as Ms. Owens' current counsel, despite this not actually being true. Either way, when a lawyer lies and files groundless pleadings, as Mr. Serrato did here, the court has the power and duty to impose sanctions. The exact procedural method of how that issue is raised is largely irrelevant. You seem irrelevant to me. B. Mr. Serrato violated CCP 128.5. Mr. Serrato moved to disqualify a lawyer despite knowing the lawyer had already disqualified himself. Mr. Serrato knew this because he was told so in writing before the current motion was filed. The fact is undisputed, or at least it should be. Trying to distract from his misconduct, Mr. Serrato only makes matters worse by presenting more lies, specifically on page 4, paragraph 10 of the opposition to the motion for sanctions. Mr. Serrato states, so paragraph 10 says, based on that phone discussion, I filed a motion to disqualify due to an obvious Rule 1.7 conflict affecting these proceedings. I prepared the motion and told Gingras I would e-serve the documents. Gingras then said he would not continue representing Owens and sent written confirmation. Impus added. Okay. This statement is another blatant lie for Mr. Serrato. As written, this statement makes it sound like events occurred in this sequence. Mr. Serrato filed a motion to disqualify due to an obvious Rule 1.7 conflict. Counsel then had a phone conversation with the issue, or about the issue. Only after that motion was filed, Gingras then said he would not continue representing Owens and sent written confirmation. This is 100% false. It is not what occurred. Here are the actual events. A Zoom hearing was held in this case on August 15, 2025. On August 18th, counsel spoke by phone for 66 minutes. During that call, Mr. Serrato urged the undersigned to discontinue representing Ms. Owens. On August 21st, counsel again spoke by phone for 16 minutes. During that call, Mr. Serrato was told undersigned counsel no longer represented Ms. Owens and he would not represent her at trial. On August 21st, Mr. Serrato asked the undersigned to confirm in writing that he no longer represents Ms. Owens. August 22nd, the undersigned replied via email and stated, as we discussed on the phone yesterday, I no longer represent Laura in the Maricini DVRO matter. So just in this matter, he doesn't represent her. On August 25th, despite knowing the attorney-client relationship was voluntarily terminated 3 days earlier, Mr. Serrato moved to disqualify. Okay, let's go back up to this paragraph 10. Based on that phone discussion, I filed a motion to disqualify due to an obvious Rule 1.7 conflict affecting these proceedings. He filed a motion to disqualify you based on those phone call discussions. And even though you put it in writing, nobody takes your word as gospel. Because you change your mind. And the fact that you think that you are in the right, you may choose to just come back and be like, well, the more I thought about it, and now that it's been like a month or so, and Laura's just here by herself trying to fight, Mike and an attorney, I could help, Judge. Or I'm not disqualified to represent her. And so then you get to come up and you get to be her attorney. Possibly. Because you could have filed a notice of appearance on October 20th. And then it would be like, well, wait just a damn minute. Because you could have changed your mind. But nobody takes your word as gospel. And you take back your words and you do other things. Because you think you're in the right. And you do it to try to prove points that don't usually land very well. So he says, if these facts do not justify sanctions, CCP 128.5 has lost all meaning. Okay. A little dramatic, don't you think? Indeed, keep in mind, if Mr. Serrato had not moved to disqualify, the outcome would be the same. The undersigned would still not represent Miss Owens and would not appear at a trial as her advocate. Further, if Mr. Serrato had not moved to disqualify, the current request for sanctions would not have been made, nor would Mr. Serrato have made his ex parte request to shorten time. All this time and effort was completely unnecessary. If Mr. Serrato had not moved to disqualify, only one thing would have happened. Miss Nighty would be deprived of valuable content for her YouTube channel. No, she wouldn't have. She has plenty of content to put out. She is not lacking. None of us are lacking in content because there's so much that we would love to cover and that we would love to do, but there are not enough hours in the day to do our main job and our hobbies. Even if a hobby makes money, I mean, that makes it better. But she is drowning in content. And so there are so many things that she could be doing other than this. And now she has to do this and other things. So no, nobody is being deprived of content. That is precisely why Mr. Serrato motion was filed. You're delusional. If this conduct does not warrant sanctions, nothing does. And as noted in the motion, the safe harbor provision of the rule only applies if the alleged action or tactic is the making of a written motion that can be withdrawn or appropriately corrected. Yeah, he thinks this is so bad that nothing that the court actually does can remedy any of this, can remedy himself, or remedy Laura Owens, which is not true. Laura Owens knows what she needs to do to remedy her problems, and it has nothing to do with anybody on YouTube. It has to do with herself. Here, the safe harbor does not apply because the harm caused by Mr. Serrato's misconduct cannot be undone by allowing him to withdraw the offering pleading. Yeah, it can. Furthermore, the misconduct is not limited to just pleadings itself. Mr. Serrato lied to this court, and he did knowing the false statements in his disqualification motion would immediately be published on YouTube by his co-conspirator. There is no co-conspirators. Miss Nighty, during her break from using the undersigned's name to post comments about the texture of a porn star's butthole. Your Honor, I hope you laugh at that because you see the comedic satire in it. Maybe you don't, because maybe you're a very, very serious judge. But I hope you do not take that comment seriously, because you can tell by that comment it is not serious. And I'm sure Gingras has said somewhere, possibly, don't quote me on this, but I'm sure he has said at one point that Miss Nighty is not a serious person. So, Your Honor, if you could please not take this non-serious person seriously. So if Miss Nighty is not a serious person, why does she need to take Miss Nighty's comments and things seriously? She shouldn't have to if Lauren's not a serious person. The harm caused by the conduct that has already occurred, allowing Mr. Serrato to withdraw his motion, would serve no purpose. Thus, the safe harbor does not apply, and this court can and should impose significant sanctions. I don't necessarily see it that way. Man, I wish this hearing on Friday was going to be streamed, because I want to hear straight from the judge what she says. I don't want to hear it interpreted on a blog or a YouTube video from Gingras. And while it's great to post, and other people are going to report it that are on Mike Maricini's side, and Gingras will probably post about it on his blog or his YouTube channel for his side. And then the order on this will probably tell us the judge. But I encourage everybody to make sure you look at the judge's ruling and what she says. Even look at Gingras' thing when he says something about what happened in court that day. You can choose to believe it or not. Or you can say, okay, Gingras said this. This is also what this person said. So that's two people at least. So maybe that is something that actually happened. And the judge's ruling just may be denied or approved, and they may not give any context about it. That's why I wish it was live stream so we didn't have to take Gingras' word. We don't have to take Steve's role, which I'm glad he's going to be there so that we have somebody that can report back. And I think that's fair, having somebody on Laura's side to report and somebody on Mike's side to report. And then you look at both reportings of what happened in court and you decide for yourself. But we didn't have to rely on that if the court was live streamed and it was out for the public and had transparency. That's why this new media is better for the future. Because traditional media just is like, hey, this is what happened. And then you go and watch what they said happened and you're like, that is so not what happened. Why did you say that? We don't have to take people's word for it if we can hear it and see it for ourselves. But that's the judge's decision, and we have to respect it. Okay. Additional comments. A significant portion of Mr. Serrato's opposition, pages 16 through 21, is devoted to downplaying his threatening YouTube videos and suggesting they do not warrant a referral to the state bar. As noted in the original motion, videos published by Mr. Serrato include fake images showing him physically assaulting undersigned counsel. You're so full of shit. And this is just so disingenuous. Other videos posted by Mr. Serrato feature fake images showing Miss Owens being punched in the face and crying. Mr. Serrato's response is, in effect, "Aw, but those are just a joke, man. No big deal, right?" And you know what the judge could do here? Is say, Mr. Serrato, as a officer of this court, could you please not post any videos, whether it's a joke or not, whether those people know the joke, or if they started it, if you could please refrain from doing that in your thumbnails. Or reporting on this particular case, or do not put out any YouTube videos about this case, or conspire to put out YouTube videos. Not saying you are, Mr. Serrato, but could you please not do that? And Omar would say, I agree. I will not do those things, and I haven't been doing those things, Judge. And then we all go on our merry little way. Because what does it matter to Omar to be told not to do something he's already not doing? To be clear, the reason Mr. Serrato's videos warrant referral to the state bar is not because he perceives them as a joke. The reason is also not because they were interpreted as actual serious threat by Miss Owens or undersigned. They were not. That's funny. You say that they were not interpreted as a serious threat by you or Laura, but you have stated that y'all did take it that way as well. So did you or didn't you? This is why nobody can take what you say seriously or take it as gospel, is because you say this here and then you say something else somewhere else. So was it a threat to y'all? Did y'all think it was threatening or not? Because you can't keep your story straight about that one. Are you representing Laura or are you not? Are you going to arrest Maricini or are you not going to have Maricini arrested? Things you've changed your mind on and been wishy-washy on. So, yeah, this is the whole reason Omar filed this, is because nothing you say can be taken as fact or true. Your credibility is dog shit. The reasons these videos warrant discipline is because this is a domestic violence case in which one of the parties, Mr. Maricini, is being supported by an online cult. We are not a cult. Mr. Serrato may think that violent images are merely a joke to him, but that's not the point. The point is, thousands of people are following this case, including countless anonymous, faceless members of the JFC cult. Many of those members have displayed clear signs of significant mental illness. Sir, go look at yourself in the mirror. Laura needs to look at herself in the mirror. Y'all are the ones displaying instability. None of us are acting crazy over here. In this context, the concern is not that Mr. Serrato thinks violent images are just a joke. The concern is some unknown member of JFC cult could easily misconstrue these jokes as encouragement to engage in actual violence towards Miss Owens. No, they couldn't. Because everybody understands what that is in regards to. It's a callback to your Conor McGregor statement. Given the current political and social climate in this country, this is entirely unacceptable. Why are you bringing politics into this? Charlie Kirk was recently shot and killed in front of a crowd of students in Utah, likely in response to his divisive online rhetoric. Omar posted this long before Charlie Kirk thing happened. It's not like he was posting it at the time. He actually is not for violence. Omar has stated that. And then we want to talk about Paul Pelosi, husband of former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, was recently attacked and viciously beaten. That was a while back. That happened way before Omar posted this. Like, they are not in the same time period. I actually did a video on this because some of it sounded kind of weird, which I haven't done an update on, but it was my thoughts at the time. And how the son of the President of the United States responded. Okay, that's politics. This has nothing to do with this. And the judge is going to be like, relevance? I think Omar should say objection, relevance, judge. Yeah, in the social media post. That is not, I mean, it is kind of funny, but it's not funny. I mean, you shouldn't do that. It was a joke. And it is tacky for, a politician to respond that way, or a politician's son. That is not behavior that's acceptable. In 2010, former governor of Alaska, Sarah Palin, posted an image showing several battleground states she hoped Republicans would win. That image showed crosshairs similar to the rifle scope covering several targets, including Tucson, Arizona. Just weeks later, a mentally ill man appeared in Tucson and shot U.S. Representative Gabrielle Giffords in the head. Giffords was severely injured but survived. A federal judge was killed, and then see that case. We must do more to stop political, social, and legal disputes from turning violent. I agree. There should be no violence. But saying words is not violent. Posting a satire picture is not violent. And nobody is saying, go do this. They cannot control what these people do. Excuse me. What one person sees as a harmless joke may easily be mistaken for encouragement, even permission to engage in violence. That's their problem. It is not Omar's problem. It's not Lauren's problem that somebody does this. Like, he's not in charge of other people's behaviors. It's ridiculous. Like, should the mayor get in trouble any time that somebody in their town does something criminal? Should the mayor have to pay a fine for that because he's in charge of the city and he's in charge of those people in his town? And so when his people are out of line, the mayor should suffer the consequences? No, that's stupid. Everybody is in charge of their own behavior, unless you are a parent and you're in charge of your child's behavior until they're an adult. But these are grown-ass people. For a lawyer like Mr. Serrato to fan the flames of rabid, vicious cult with fake photos of Miss Owens being punched in the face in a domestic violence case is incomprehensible. The fact that he did not post that about the domestic violence case. I don't think he did. I think those were, I mean, they weren't about this domestic violence case. That's for sure. Let's take a look. Let's see. All right, we're just scrolling here. Jeez, this is so far down. Mm-mm. Yeah, it is Clayton and Owens, and it talks about sanctions. Um, Those posts have nothing to do with domestic violence, because the context that he's speaking about in the videos with those pictures, nothing to do with domestic violence. They have to do with the paternity case, but not domestic violence. Miss Owens has come to this court seeking help and protection from a man who she claims has harmed her. Yes, she claims that. That doesn't make it true. Miss Owens should not also have to worry that counsel for the respondent is actively encouraging people to punch her in the face or worse. He is not actively encouraging it. These things happened like 11 months ago, sir. This is not happening currently. Like, you act like Mr. Serrato is representing Mike and going out there and telling people to do this or making thumbnails of this currently, which is disingenuous. Mr. Serrato thinks asking a litigation opponent if they want gun smoke that is not a literal promise of bodily harm. He didn't ask if you wanted gun smoke. You're the one who talks about the gun and brought the gun in. Nobody else. It's just a joke, not a true threat. No big deal. Maybe to him it's not. But what about the angry, mentally disturbed person sitting in their basement following every minute of YouTube coverage posted by Mr. Serrato and Miss Nighty? What about what might that person think? What might they do? Hopefully they listen to the person that you say is their cult leader and not go do those things. If we're a true cult, shouldn't our cult followers listen to us people as a cult leader? So we're not in control of people. As noted in the initial motion to intervene, a lawyer in Florida was recently disbarred for similar conduct. Well, you've got some stuff going on in Florida, don't you, Gingras? Are Mr. Serrato's images of Miss Owens being punched in the face funny, just a joke, or do they justify removing him from legal profession? No, they do not. That decision should be made by the California State Bar of California, and if necessary, the California Supreme Court. This court should ask them to make that call urgently before someone else dies. You are being so damn dramatic. Nobody is going to die. Nobody. Nobody's dying at the hands of anybody else. Justice does not stand for killing people or hurting people. It's so ridiculous. Like, you want to sit here and say, Omar lies, Omar lies, Omar lies, and then you come in here with this bullshit. I mean, there's no words for this shit and how fucked up it is. In conclusion, for the reasons stated above, the motion for leave to intervene and for other relief should be granted. Dated October 7th, 2025, Gingras Law, intervener and former counsel to petitioner. Are you former counsel? Or do you have another brief that you need to write in regards to the Clayton v. Echard case? Or Owens V Echard case? Not Clayton v. Echard. Clayton again. Clayton's first name versus Clayton's Echard's last name. No. Owens v. Echard. Oh, God. You just cannot be serious with this. You just can't. The fact that you thought that you should write this and submit this to the court is baffling and embarrassing. Proof of service, guess what? They electronically emailed this one. So I do not understand why he chose to snail mail one of the other motions. I mean, you get to, it's your choice, and he has the right to do it. I just don't understand it. And he signs this under the penalty of perjury of the laws of the state of Arizona that everything in this is true and correct, which we know it's not. Um, but okay. Served on Owens and Omar. It's just, it's so crazy. And we have a quote. Sometimes the point isn't to make people believe a lie. It's to make people fear the liar. Anne Applebaum. And to me, this kind of is the way that Owens or Gingras conduct themselves, because it is like baffling and shocking when somebody just blatantly lies, like right in front of your face, and then they can smirk about it or something later. And a person could just be standing there gobsmacked because it's like, did she just say? Or did he just say what I think he said? Knowing that that is not true. And it's like, yeah, they just purposely lied, knowingly lied, right in front of your face. And in their mind, it's like, what are you going to do about it? It's my word against your word. And now you know that this person is willing to lie about things with a straight face. And you think, if they can just sit there and blatantly lie and say this shit with a straight face and act like they are so serious, what else are they capable of? So then it makes you fear them, because you would have thought that the person never would have lied about something that they knew wasn't true. But then they show you their true colors. So then you're like, what else is going to happen? Like, she's really willing to lie about this and say these things when they are not true and they can be proven that she's lying. They're just willing to do all this. So I think this quote can be fitting for people that are like this, because they're like, watch me. It's like Amber Heard. Who do you think they're going to believe? Well, when you look at things, truth and honesty rings true. And you two do not. Your credibility is shot. Maybe you could go try to sell this to somebody who doesn't know anything. But I think even them listening to you at some point, they would be like, something doesn't add up. Like, that doesn't seem true. But y'all let me know what you think about this. Do you know people that are like that? Um, that will just lie. And it's not that they don't care if you believe the lie. It's just showing you, I will lie on your ass. And there's nothing you can do about it. And that's how Laura has gotten away with so much shit in the last decade, is because she has been able to tell this lie. And people have been afraid to go against her because she's a little tiny petite female. And petite, I mean like small. Like she's, compared to these guys, because she likes tall guys. And people will be like, well, she's just a tiny petite person, and look at this guy that's like 6', 6'2". Yep, we should trust people based on their heights. and their weights. I mean, that's what people are doing when that's not how we should be judging things. Batting some eyelashes. Who can act crazier than the other person? Like, this is not how things should be decided, and that is not how truth is discovered. But that is going to be it for me on this video. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn those notifications on so you do not miss a video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.